like to explain you about a history lesson, our cultural heritage, which is in our grade 7 history textbook. As a Sri Lankan, we have a proud history and we should protect our cultural heritages as well. Okay, let's go to the lesson. Cultural heritage is divided into two, tangible heritage and intangible heritage. Tangible heritage means heritages that can be touched, and intangible heritage means parts of heritage that cannot be touched. Examples of tangible heritage is religious places. Religious places means that temples, mosques and kovils. Palaces of kings, also we can touch, and fortresses, that means Sigiriya fortress, and gardens, buildings, Minneria tanks, and ponds, canals, dams, books, that means Mahavamsa, Pujavali, Deepavangsha, like that books also we can be touched, that is known as the tangible heritage. And intangible heritage means parts of heritage that cannot be touched. Language we speak, Sinhala language, Tamil language can be touched, can't. Folk songs, that means Janakavi, folk music, folk dances, and popular faiths and festive events. Festive means that Vesak festival, Hajj festival can be touched, can't, that is included in the intangible heritage. And customs and formalities and traditional arts and crafts, traditional medicine, that is Ayurvedic, secret treatment methods adapted in agriculture. Tangible heritage, heritages that can be touched, Sigiriya can be touched, and Twin Pond, Kuttampokuna, and Temple of the Sacred Tooth Relic, Ranmasuyana. After that, Nishankalata Mandapaya, Galvihar and Poranova has 3 statues named Hindipilimaya, Hittipilimaya and Satapenapilimaya. Minneria tank constructed by King Mahasen, and Ruanvelisaya constructed by King Dutugamono. We can touch these heritages. Intangible heritage. UNESCO has named 5 types of intangible heritage. The language we speak, Sinhala language, Tamil language, can be touched, can't. Okay, performing arts, folk songs, Janakavi, and folk music, popular faiths and festive events. I said first that Hajj festivals, that festive events, and the knowledge and practices adapted from nature and experiences, traditional arts and crafts. Based on these above criteria, we can identify the intangible cultural heritage that we have inherited. The language we speak, Sinhala language that is spoken at present has a history of about 2500 years, and the Tamil language also has a similar history as the Sinhala language. This language is enriched by comparisons, metaphors, proverbs and idioms. Sinhala language is influenced by the Tamil language as well as other languages. That means Pali, Sanskritika, Radat language that existed in the past. Sinhala language is also influenced by Tamil language, Pali language, Sanskritika language. Sinhala language is influenced by those languages, and Tamil language also has been influenced by the other contemporary languages. Therefore, the way a language is practiced in Sri Lanka has its own style and tradition. Yes, Sinhala language has its own style, Tamil language has its own style and a tradition Sri Lanka has practiced. Art of dancing. Different types of dancing and singing events that were performed in ancient Sri Lanka have been mentioned in the Mahavamsa, Kausilya and Saddamka. Different types of dancing, singing events are performed in Sri Lanka. In the ancient Sri Lanka, they were recorded in the books such as Mahavamsa, Kausilya and Saddaramanakare. It is recorded in Mahavamsa. You see, this is a picture of Mahavamsa book at the ceremony of the laying foundation stone at Ruanvelisaya. King Dutugamunu arrived at the premises accompanied by dancers similar to divine ladies. Yes. King Dutugamunu arrived, dancers, accompanied by dancers to Ruanvelisaya to lay the foundation stones. That also one event, no? That also one event. That is recorded in this Mahavamsa book. You see this Mahavamsa book. This is the event of dancing. During the rule of King Parakramabahu I, it was recorded that there were dancing and singing events at different occasions. During the rule of King Parakramabahu I, there were dancing, singing events at different occasions. King has even constructed buildings for these performances held in that buildings. Who constructed? This king. It was recorded in the Mahavamsa that Queen Rupavati had special skills in singing and dancing. Who had special skills in singing and dancing? Queen Rupavati. Mahavamsa records that King Parakramabahu II had held a ceremony with different types of dancing and melodious music. Yes, that King Parabrahma too held a ceremony with different types of dancing, melodious music that he held a ceremony. Drums, violins, horns were some of the examples of musical instruments. Here see, these are the examples of some musical instruments used in past. Music and dancing can be seen in Kandi Asala Perahara. Yes, here see, dancing, music, all can be seen in the Kandi Asala Perahara. Even at present you could see music and dancing in different religious ceremonies as well as in other functions. Yes, in other functions even they are dancing and singing. Here see. Okay. Folk poems. Folk poems and songs descended from generation to generation. Yes, from generation to generation folk poems are descended. Father saying to his son one folk poem, son saying to his son one folk poem, like that it's descended from one generation to another generation. Information on the poems or time of the composition is often unknown. We don't know who wrote that, in what time he said that and he made that poem. We don't know. Kalkavi, poem sung during protecting Chenas in the night. Here see, when they protect Chenas in the night, they sing Kalkavi. And Goyam Kavi, here see, during the agricultural activities, they sing this song, Goyam Kavi. And Paru Kavi, poem sung by Bagis. And Patal Kavi, poem sung by miners. Here see, when they are mining gem, they sing that song, Patal Kavi. And Karatta Kavi, poem sung by bullock cart drivers. When here see, one bullock cart driver transporting goods from one place to another place. When he transports goods, he sing that Karatta Kavi. Importance of folk poems. Why this is important? Folk poems. Folk poems are composed and sung to drive away the solitude and tiredness. To drive away the tiredness, they sing folk poems. These poems are important to understand the experience of the people. Yes, whose occupation farmer is singing Goyam Kavi. We can see that he is a farmer. His occupation we can see. His experiences we can see by that folk poems. Folk poem is used to praise the qualities of parents and elders. We can praise the qualities of the parents and elders by these folk poems. To express love for children. Okay, to show the correct path to younger generation and to express the hunger and to express a relationship between relatives. To express the relationship between relatives, that folk poem is used. The expression of a sensitive feeling born in the mind, creative and good to get satisfaction by singing into tween. By singing to the folk poems of tween, we can get satisfaction in our mind. Now, we can get a satisfaction. Social habits and beliefs are an intangible heritage. Yes, they also intangible heritage handed down from one generation to another generation. Father's good habit, son is following. Another son is following, is that son's good habit. That it's handed down from generation to generation. He'll have some social habits, good habits. Removing shoes and hats when entering temples and other, you see, when entering temples and other religious places, they remove their shoes, hats, and they worship parents and elders. Yes, they are worshipping parents and elders and washing hands before taking meals. Yes, before taking meals, they are washing hands and helping the needy. Yes, that is also a good habit. No, helping the needy, showing compassion to animals. Compassion means kindness to animals. When we see this traditional heritage, humbleness, kindness, compassion, courtesy, mold in our character. Yes, we will be humble, kindness when we see this. Holding ceremonies. Even in the past, there had been different ceremonies from the birth to death. From the birth to death, there have ceremonies. Different ceremonies has been held. Jata karma, the big custom that should be fulfilled at birth. When the baby is born, that custom they should be fulfilled. You see, the custom that should be fulfilled when the baby is born, that is Jata karma. Nama karma means giving a name. When the baby is born, you see, giving a name. After the Vidyaramba, commencing education. Yes, firstly they are commencing education. You see, that is also one ceremony held. And Antaprasana means giving the first solid meal. First solid meal given to one baby. And Karnaveda means pierce the ear. Pierce the ear for the first time. Here see, piercing in the ear from first time. Some of the ceremonies held during the Rajarata civilization. The Rajarata civilization means Anuradhapura and Polonnaruwa. In Anuradhapura and Polonnaruwa civilizations, what are the ceremonies held? They are the Vesak festival, water sports festival and the Bak Magul festival. Vesak, Poson, like the more festival are held. The religious group is Singhalis. Their festivals are the Vesak, Poson, Asala Perahara. Here see Vesak, Poson, Asala Perahara. Sinhala New Year. They are the festivals of Sinhalese religious groups. In the Tamils, Thai Pongal, Deepavali. Here see, this is the Thai Pongal, Deepavali, Mahasivaratri. They are festivals. And Muslims, Ramazan festival and Hajj festival. Here see, Ramazan festival and Hajj festival. And the Christians is Good Friday, Christmas and Easter Sunday. He said Good Friday, Christmas, Easter Sunday. They are festivals. Who's Christians festivals? Knowledge and habits obtained from the nature and external influence. Yeah. As a country with a long history, we are in the possession of a huge amount of traditional knowledge inherited from ancient human experience. Examples are the in field of agriculture, we know human experiences are there, and when we constructing tanks, sowing crops, taking care of the crops, gathering harvest, and crop disease and the treatment to them. When a crop disease, that means what is the treatment to them and the secret methods, the traditional medicine and carpentry and gem industry. Traditional art and craft. What are the examples? Here see wood carvings. That is also one example of traditional art and craft. Frescoes. Here see Sigiriya frescoes and weaving mats. Here see weaving mats. And making and polishing brass object. Yes, you see making brass object and polishing brass object. That is also one traditional art and craft. And mask and puppetry. You see masks and puppetry. Lacquer industry. Yes, lacquer industry also one example for the traditional art and craft. Mask and puppetry. Masks are made of for different types of rituals and ceremonial dances. Yes, when they dance also they are putting mask and only dance. Images of devils and goats are used as masks. Yes. The devils, goats are used as masks. You see some masks. Marks are used to generate feelings like horror and pride. Marks are used to generate their feelings. Villages in the south of the country such as Ambalangoda and Udupila are famous for the making of masks. These areas are famous for making of masks. Lacquer painting industry. Upcountry is famous for this craft. Upcountry, that Kandy, the country. Upcountry is famous for this craft. Raw material needed for this in the CSE. Lac insect. This lac insect fluid. Because that fluid only, from that fluid only they make lacquer paint. Where this lac insect lives? They live on the Capetia plants. Lacquer industry was used to beautify the outer surface of the walking sticks. Outer surface they can beautify by the lacquer painting. And the wooden trays, bowls, you see some bowls beautified by the lacquer paint. And the furniture, see furnitures, handle of the palmyra fan, you see handle of the palmyra fan, and lascarines and ola leaves, you see lascarines, they are painted, and ola leaves. If you like this video, like, share and comment. Don't forget to click the bell mark to thank you and study happy.